Public Notice Records filed in Maryland Superior Court. 2025 January 15/1446. Moorish American Consular Court. Maryland Territory, Court. Clerk. Filed Empire State of Morocco 061 lien Post Office United States Postal Service lien and public notice delivered to subject. Louis DEJOY, Postmaster United States Postal Service Record Number 95890710527000997938599, Record Number 958907105270217960465 and 2024 September 11th Record Number 95890710527021796045881. All subjects and systems are liened and under our Moorish power and authority. United States Postal Service lien number MACA plus cause 0000000018 nunc pro tunc Gregorian year 2017 Maryland Territory Ancient Muuri land. Ancient Al-Moroccan Empire Moorish Empire Foundation document Moorish American National, Sovereign Authority in North America Maryland Territory Empire State of Morocco, United States for America. Moorish National Republic Federal Government, Societas Republici Al-Moricanos, Moorish Divine and National Movement of the Earth, Northwest Amaxim, Northwest Africa, North America. The North Gate all adjoining islands, Temple of the Moon and Sun, the true and de jure natural peoples, heirs of the land, I.S.L.A.M. on. The land. On shore United States for America General Post Office Letter, Postmaster Notice, Subject. Louis DEJOY in the Office of Postmaster General and Chief Executive Officer. Parcel number 958907105270009979385 2025 January 14th Ancient document Moorish Empire received and accept get Justices Mail Room 475 L'Enfant Plaza Southwest Room 4012, District of Columbia. Post Office Code, 20260 North America, Washington 2025 January 15th p.m. 12. 30 Notice and Truth Affidavit Notice to Acting Agent is Notice to Acting Principal Notice to Acting Principal is Notice to Acting Agent to whom it may concern. Please kindly correct and update your records to reflect return location, return to BYRON CALVIN RODGERS Moorish National Republic Federal Government Moorish American Consulate Co. 613 East Chase Street, Baltimore, Maryland, United States of America, USA, without the U.S. Colossians 3:17, and whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Christ, giving thanks to God and the Father by him. The human seed that came forth from the heart of Allah was full ordained to be the Lord of plane of soul, and of the plane of things made manifest. So Allah, the husbandman of everything that is, threw forth this human seed into the soil of soul, it grew apace, and man became a living soul. And he became the Lord of all the kingdom of the soul. Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America I, BYRON CALVIN RODGERS, sui juris, a Bey, also known as BYRON CALVIN of the Rogers tribe. The Bey in Baltimore, Maryland, Jew sanguine genealogy Choctaw/Cherokee, on the land in Baltimore, Maryland Territory. This is a sovereignty livingency and Article 3 Moorish American Al-Moroccan Universal Court ACCTIONI, we are the divine sovereignty living justice and ego sum BYRON CALVIN RODGERS. Sovereign living justice in capitis diminutio nolo, in red ink, in propria persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredis, my sovereignly chosen appellation is BYRON Zahar Bey. And I accept my office as executor for BYRON RODGERS/estate, Chief Justice for our Consular Court, and as a living sovereign postmaster in Maryland Territory, on the land in North America. We make this truth affidavit and notice made known to all subjects in the office of United States Postal Service, located on the land in the Americas, and all locations on the land shall be in alignment with the Constitution for the United States of North America 1789 and 1791, Moorish American Zodiac Constitution, and Treaty of Peace and Friendship 1836. Our United States Post Office Creditor Bond 410760000/United States Treasury Bond 02025923923, Empire State of Morocco liens, MACA plus cause 000000018, levies and bonds. Universal Declaration of Human Rights / Universal and American Declaration Rights of Indigenous People. And per our right to a remedy and reparations for victims of gross violations of international human rights law / humanitarian law, and as defined by law. All locations on the land shall deliver all of the living ancient original indigenous Moorish American sovereign governments, Moorish National Republic Federal Government, United States for America. Non-U.S. citizen, parcels and mail, via our national and universal mailing process / system, which includes the use of our prepaid. Without the U.S. Without the United States, parcel stamp and combined with postage and fees paid, permit number G10 form 3811 domestic return receipt. And shall be, prepaid / non-taxed, deliverable up to £5 per parcel, using our national / national government, on the land / onshore mailing process / system. Our fully active mailing process and system is for all original indigenous Moorish American peoples' use in the Americas and shall remain fully active / prepaid status as relates to our parcels. Notice to all subjects in the Office of United States Postal Service employees scanning in or handling of our parcels. All parcels are delivered once deposited in any post office on the land and shall be delivered without obstruction, hindrance, damage, nor tampering. Already active and effective immediately. Share this notice to all subjects and locations, on the land in the Americas. Asterisk subjects in the Office of United States Postal Service, at various locations, in Baltimore, Maryland, on the land, North America, are in willful breach of the public trust / treaty / constitution. And in violation of our Universal Declaration of Human Rights / Universal and American Declaration on Rights of Indigenous Peoples, United States Post Office Creditor Bond 410760000. As reference, 18 United States Code 1726, 12 Statute at Law Chapter 71, Section 23, Public Law 856 Chapter 807, by denying, tampering with, and obstructing the delivery of our nationals, non-U.S. citizen, parcels. And by demanding the sovereign indigenous American people pay fee / tax for deliver our international parcels to be delivered on our own land. Our process / system is without the USPS service and is delivered by General Post Office, by our Moorish power. To all subjects of the ancient Moorish Empire / ancient AL Moroccan Empire in the Americas. Since the use of zip is not required, see zip not required CDMM 602 1.3e, 2, A010. Section 1.2e, from the DMM. This shows that zip codes are voluntary under the law, for first-class mail matter, domestic mail manual service regulations. The U.S. Postal Service cannot discriminate against the non-use of zip codes, pursuant to the Postal Reorganization Act. Section 403, Public Law 91-375, the U.S. attempts to assert jurisdiction by sending letters with zip codes, when jurisdiction would otherwise be lacking. The receipt and acceptance of mail with zip codes is one of the presumptions for the Internal Revenue Service, in particular, to presume jurisdiction to send notices. In fact, the IRS has adopted zip code areas as internal revenue districts. See the Federal Register, Volume 51, Number 53, for Wednesday, March 19, 1986. The U.S. corporation cannot bill non-U.S. citizen because such non-U.S. citizen is not within the purview of the District of Columbia, its jurisdiction, territories, possessions, or enclaves. As a group, these areas are now uniquely and collectively identified as the Federal Zone. We are on the land, we the living ancient original indigenous Moorish American sovereign people and governments, are living, Moorish National Republic Federal Government, the living nationals. Non-U.S. citizen, are on the land of the Americas. This is notice and instruction to all subjects in the Office of United States Postal Service, USPS, acting as trustee of the public mailing parcels, to update all location staff. Retrain / inform all subjects, update all systems to reflect the same as related to our universal, prepaid / non-taxed, national, on the land of North America, parcels mail process and standards. Thank you in advance for your cooperation and understanding. Filed in On the Land, Baltimore, 2025 January 15 p.m. 12:30 Moorish American Consular Court Maryland Territory by BYRON Zahar Bey, Chief Clerk. We are at peace. By my will, voluntary act, true deed, and lawful attorney in fact to make, execute, seal, acknowledge and deliver under my hand and seal, explicitly reserving all rights without prejudice with honor. National Post Office. Postmaster, United States for America. Received and accept Get Justice's Mailroom, 2025 January 15 p.m. 12:30, Baltimore County Superior Court. Public Notice, Post Office, United States for America, 2024 October 4. We the People. Public announcement to all subjects doing business offshore as United States Postal Service employees. Notice: it has come to our attention that employees may not be aware of our national government mailing process. Our original indigenous Americans' national government mailing process and system remains fully active, fully prepaid, fully domestic, onshore, at land. Not taxed. Our system accepts our parcels when received by our national government parcel stamped without the U.S. combined with postage and fees paid. Permit number G10 Form 3811 Domestic Return Receipt. This includes each parcels delivered to the post office up to £5 per parcel, using our process. C. United States Creditor Bond 410760000 and United States Treasury Bond 202-592318. United States Code 1726, 12 Statute at Law, Chapter 71, Section 23. Public Law 856, Chapter 807. Federal offense to collect postage. Do not obstruct, hinder, damage, or tamper with our parcels. Mail parcels are delivered once deposited. Our fully active mailing process and system for all original indigenous American people use on the lands of the Americas. To our original indigenous brothers and sisters doing business offshore, share this notice. We are at peace. Filed Maryland Superior Court, Baltimore County, 2025 January 15 p.m. 12:30. Moorish American Consular Court, Maryland Territory. By BYRON Zahar Bey, Chief Clerk with Honor. By BYRON Rogers, Chief Justice, National Post Office, Postmaster. United States for America. Empire State OB Morocco. Affidavit UV Reading Initial Universal Commercial Code 1 Financing Statement Fixture Filling. Land and Commercial Lien 2024 September 11 Record number 958907105270217960458 Library of Congress and Uthers Maca Plus Cause 0000000018 National Safe Harbory Program Universal Commercial Code 9-521 whereby nationals who file written Universal Commercial Code liens can file Universal Commercial Code liens in any state. All res and stand and remain standing into perpetuity. This is a sovereignty livengency and Article 3 Moorish American al Moroccan Court ACCTIONE. I am sovereignty livenge Justice BYRON CALVIN RODGERS in capitis diminutio nullo, in red ink, in propria persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio haradis. My free chosen national appellation is BYRON Zahar Bey in capitis diminutio nullo, in red ink, in propria persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio haradis. We are the original indigenous sovereignans and al Moroccan Moorish American ascendants of the great Pharaohs of Kemet and of the and Moabites and Canaanites. Our full faith and trust, our allegiance, our credit and our energy are hereby vested in ourselves, for we are the people who are the original indigenous natural divinans and Empire State of Morocco and the de jure Moorish National Republic Federal Government. We hereby exercise all sovereignty rights at this time and at all points in time nunc pro tunc. Copies of this Article 3 Consular Court Notification to Debtors 2025 January 14 Record number 958907105270009979385 Subject Louis DEJOY and Record number 958907105270217960463 Debtor 1 Carla Hayden DBA Librarian United States Library of Congress and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof United States Library of Congress 101 Independence Avenue Southeast Washington, D.C. 20540 Debtor 2 Michael J. HSU DBA Acting United States Controller of Currency and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof Office of the Controller of Currency 400 7th St. S.W. Washington, D.C. 20219 Debtor 3 Janet Yellen DBA United States Secretary of the Treasury owed all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof U.S. Department of the Treasury 1500 Pennsylvania Avenue, N.W. Washington DC 20220 Debtor for Anthony J. Blinken DBA United States Secretary of State and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof U.S. Department of State 2201 C. St. N.W. Room 2206 Washington, D.C. 20520 Debtor 5 Dwayne Miller DBA Provost Marshal General and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof Office of the Provost Marshal General 2800 Army Pentagon Washington, D.C. 20310-2800 Debtor 6 Jerome Powell DBA United States Federal Reserve Chairman and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof Office of the Federal Reserve Constitution ABE N.W. and 20th St. N.W. Washington, D.C. 20551 Debtor 7 Muriel Bowser DBA Mayor Washington District of Columbia agents and derivatives thereof and all heirs assigns principals Office of the Chief Financial Officer 1350 Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest equals 203 Washington DC 20004 Debtor and Mike Pellicciati DBA Washington State Treasurer and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof Washington State Treasury 416 Sid Snyder Avenue Southwest 2nd Floor Room 230 Olympia, Washington, 98504-0200 Debtor 9 Gary Gensler DBA Chief Executive Officer U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof Securities and Exchange Commission 1191, 2nd Avenue, Seattle WA 98101 Debtor 10 Anthony Jabbour DBA Chief Executive Officer Dun & Bradstreet and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof Dun & Bradstreet Corporation 101, JFK Parkway Short Hills New Jersey 07078 Debtor 11 Brian Casson DBA Chief Executive Officer Experian Credit Reporting Corporation and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof Experian Credit Reporting Corporation 955, American Lane Schaumburg IL 60173 Debtor 12 Mark Beggar DBA Chief Executive Officer Equifax Credit Reporting Corporation all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof Equifax Credit Reporting Corporation 1550 Peachtree Street Northwest Atlanta Georgia 30309 Debtor 13 Christopher A. Cartwright DBA Chief Executive Officer TransUnion Credit Reporting Corporation and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof TransUnion Credit Reporting 555 West Adams Street 6th floor Chicago IL 60661 to 3614 Debtor 14 and Joseph R. Biden DBA President United States Corporation Company and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof United States Corporation Company 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue Washington DC 20500 Debtor 15 Louis DeJoy DBA Postmaster General United States Postal Service and all heirs assigns principals agents o derivatives thereof United States Postal Service 475 L'Enfant Plaza SW Washington DC 20260 Debtor 16 David Ferriero DBA Archivist of the United States and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof Archives of the United States 700 Pennsylvania Avenue NW Washington, D.C. 20408 Debtor 17 Charlie Barth DBA Director Office of the Federal Register and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof Office of the Federal Register 7G Street, NW Suite A 734 Washington D.C. 20401 Mail to Bowser, Muriel Office of the Mayor John A. Wilson Building 1350 Pennsylvania Ave NW number 203 Washington, D.C. 20004 delivered via email and returned receipt United States Post Office copy. DeWitt, Jeffrey Office of the Recorder 1101 4th Street Southwest number 270 Washington, D.C. 20004 delivered via email and returned receipt United States Post Office all debtors received original affidavit sovereigne creditor Empire State of Morocco Moorish National Republic Federal Government Moorish American Consulate C/0613 East Chase Street Baltimore Territory Maryland Reservation Zion New Jerusalem Universal Natural Cade 8 LGD 4 TPJJJCKB Latitude Longitude 39.30254005 76.607918 This is an initial Universal Commercial Code 1 filling pursuant to Universal Commercial Codes and District for Columbia Official Codes 28:9-501, 28:9-502, 28:9-516A, 28. 9-516B, 28:9-520C, 28:9-521 and all other applicable codes concerning secured party creditors and initial fillings. 28:9-521 Universal Written Financing Statement T. A filling office that accepts written records may not refuse to accept a written initial financing statement in this form and format, except for a reason set forth in 28:9-516, b, entitled What Constitutes Filling, Effectiveness of Filling. A. Except as otherwise provided in subsection, b. Communication UF a record to a filling office and tender UF the filling fee or acceptance of the record by the filling office constitutes filling. 28:9-501 Filling Office. Except as otherwise provided in subsection, b, if the local law UF the district governs perfection UF a security interest or agricultural lien. The office in which to file a financing statement to perfect the security interest or agricultural lien is 1. The recorder UF deeds, if, b, the financing statement is filed as a fixture filling and the collateral is goods that are or are to become fixtures. Or, 2. The mayor in all other cases, including a case in which the collateral is goods that are or are to become fixtures and the financing statement is not filed as a fixture filling. b. The office in which to file a financing statement to perfect a security interest in collateral, including fixtures, UF a transmitting utility is the office UF the mayor. The financing statement also constitutes a fixture filling as to the collateral indicated in the financing statement which is or is to become fixtures. 28:9-515 Duration and Effectiveness UF Financing Statement, Effect UF Lapsed Financing Statement. F. If a debtor is a transmitting utility and a filed initial financing statement so indicates, the financing statement is effective until a termination statement is filed. 28:9-521, Universal Commercial Code 1 Financing Statement A. Sovereigne appellation and phone, optional. BYRON CALVIN RODGERS in propria persona sui juris in proprio solo and in proprio heredis Empire State of Morocco B. Email, optional, thegovernment@gmail.com c. Send acknowledgement to, appellation and mailing location, Empire State of Morocco Moorish National Republic Federal Government Moorish American Consulate C/0911 Southwest 314th Place Federal Way Washington. Reservation Washington District for Columbia Zion New Jerusalem Universal Natural Area Cade 4S3WVQVKZ5 Latitude Longitude 47.31981 plus 122.34762 The above space is for filling officers only. Privat debtors Niam Debtor 1 Carla Hayden DBA Librarian United States Library of Congress and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof United States Library of Congress 101 Independence Avenue Southeast Washington, D.C. 20540 Debtor 2 Michael J. HSU DBA Acting United States Controller of Currency and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof Office of the Controller of Currency 400 7th St. S.W. Washington, D.C. 20219 Debtor 3 Janet Yellen DBA United States Secretary of the Treasury and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof U.S. Department of the Treasury 1500 Pennsylvania Avenue N.W. Washington, D.C. 20220 Debtor 4 Anthony J. Blinken DBA United States Secretary of State and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof U.S. Department of State 2201 C. St. N.W. Room 2206 Washington, D.C. 20520 Debtor 5 Dwayne Miller DBA Provost Marshal General and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof Office of the Provost Marshal General 2800 Army Pentagon Washington, D.C. 20310-2800 Debtor 6 Jerome Powell DBA United States Federal Reserve Chairman and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof Office of the Federal Reserve Constitution Abe N.W. and 20th St. N.W. Washington, D.C. 20551 Debtor 7 Muriel Bowser DBA Mayor Washington District of Columbia agents and derivatives thereof and all heirs assigns principals Office of the Chief Financial Officer 1350 Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest equals 203 Washington DC 20004 Debtor 8 Mike Pelliciotti DBA Washington State Treasurer and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof Washington State Treasury 416 Sid Snyder Avenue Southwest 2nd floor. Room 230 Olympia Washington 98504-0200 Debtor 9 Gary Gensler DBA Chief Executive Officer. U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof Securities and Exchange Commission 1191 2nd Avenue Seattle. WA 98101 Debtor 10 Anthony Jabor DBA Chief Executive Officer. Dun & Bradstreet and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof Dun & Bradstreet Corporation 101 JFK Parkway Short Hills. New Jersey 07078 Debtor 11 Brian Casson DBA Chief Executive Officer. Experian Credit Reporting Corporation owed all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof Experian Credit Reporting Corporation 955 American Lane Schaumburg. IL 60173 Debtor 12 Mark Beggar DBA Chief Executive Officer. Equifax Credit Reporting Corporation and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof Equifax Credit Reporting Corporation 1550 Peachtree Street Northwest Atlanta. Georgia 30309 Debtor 13 Christopher A. Cartwright DBA Chief Executive Officer. TransUnion Credit Reporting Corporation and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof TransUnion Credit Reporting 555 West Adams Street 6th floor Chicago. IL 60661 to 3614 Debtor 14 Joseph R. Biden DBA President. United States Corporation Company and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof United States Corporation Company 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue Washington. DC 20500 Debtor 15 Louis DeJoy DBA Postmaster General. United States Postal Service owed all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof United States Postal Service 475 L'Enfant Plaza SW. Washington, D.C. 20260 Debtor 16 David Ferriero DBA Archivist of the United States and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof Archives of the United States 700 Pennsylvania Avenue. NW Washington, D.C. 20408 Debtor 17 Charlie Barth DBA Director. Office of the Federal Register and all heirs assigns principals agents and derivatives thereof Office of the Federal Register 7G Street, NW. Suite A 734. Washington, D.C. 20401*57. Sovereigne Universal Original Indigenous Creditore. BYRON CALVIN RODGERS Empire State of Morocco Moorish National Republic Federal Government Moorish American Consulate C/0613 East Chase Street Baltimore Maryland Reservation Ancient Muuri. Land Territory Universal Natural Cade, 81 GD4 TPJHCKB Latitude Longitude 39.30254005, 76.6079181157A. Inter-Moorish American Appellation BYRON CALVIN RODGERS and Propria Persona Sui Juris, all rights exercised at all times 576. Mailing location Empire State of Morocco Moorish National Republic Federal Government Moorish American Consulate C/0911 Southwest 314th Place Federal Way Washington Reservation Washington. District for Columbia Zion New Jerusalem Universal Natural Area Cade, 4S3WVQVKZ5 Latitude Longitude 47.31981 plus 122.34762 The following collateral. All land at America is ancient original indigenous Bariali landus and eminent dominioni is hereby invoked. Bariali land is defined as the sovereignty land uv through Moorish American heirs where through original indigenous ancients are placed under earth or water. This financing statement covers the following collateral. The collateral covered by this financing statement is the land and all structure, property, equipment, commerce and the indebtedness of the debtors to the ancient sovereignty original indigenous natural divine people who are the Empire State of Morocco in the sum certain amount of $100 million $100,000. 000.00 in gold-backed lawful tender for each ancient sovereignty original indigenous natural divine land parcel the debtor occupies on the land to which all Moroccan Moorish Americans, who are the Moorish National Republic Federal Government, the Moorish American Consulate, and the Moorish Divine and National Movement of the world are heirs pursuant to ancient sovereignty supreme universal natural divine law. and the Peace and Friendship Affidavit 1786 and 1836 and the Constitution for the United States 1789/1791. Nunc pro tunc. This DEJOY bill and universal commerce has been activated pursuant to the following universal commercial codes in alignment with the will UF the sovereigne universal original indigenous secured. Creditors. All indebtedness is for debts engaged into before the said Constitution and for unlawfully occupying the land UF all Moorish American nationals. The said treaty is the attached library UF Congress certified publication entitled The Public Statutes at Large UF the United States of America. Volume 8 pages 100 through 105, certified September 26, 1990, signed and sealed by Library of Congress Photo Duplication Service Acting Chief Shirley M. Berry on November 8, 2007. Indebtedness is additionally calculated pursuant to all writs and affidavits recorded by all Moorish American nationals. Proof UF service UF writs and affidavits are on the public record. Creditors' notice to agents, principals, and/or the liable parties is the judgment. This is a judgment and invocation UF eminent dominion to possess land, property, structures, and all commercial transactions by debtor, principals, agents, assigns, and heirs. Also in alignment with UCC 9-607 collection and enforcement by secured party UCC 9-203 attachment and enforceability of security interest * UCC 9-609 secured parties right to take possession. After default, all presumed contracts with the United States Corporation Company and all agents, principals, heirs, assigns and derivatives thereof are terminated effective September 11, 2018. The land that is North America/Northwest Amaxime/Northwest Africa/the North Gate is now declared and proclaimed to be New Jerusalem and is Zion. All U.S. banners of amity and commerce are outlawed. No other flags, banners, or signs UF allegiance shall fly or be displayed on Moorish American land. Only the Moorish American flag, red field with green 5-pointed star, shall fly or be publicly displayed. The Moorish American flag will fly in all places currently occupied by the U.S. banner of amity and commerce, and the U.S. banner of amity and commerce shall be permanently removed immediately. All citizens are subjects to the all Moorish American nationals at all times. No person shall obstruct, hinder, encumber, speak against saint, or resist the mandates UF this affidavit. All immigrants, aliens, and citizens shall affirm sincere allegiance to the Moorish American flag and the Moorish National Republic federal government. All non-combatant, non-hostile, peace-loving foreigners that affirm allegiance to the Moorish National Republic federal government and the Moorish American flag will be granted Moorish subject status and are mandated to obey the supreme laws of the land who are the Moorish National Republic federal government at all times. We remain in honor and governing accordingly. All goods and services that are provided to the Moorish National Republic federal government are prepaid. The Moorish National Republic federal government is the superior jurisdiction at all points in time and in all affairs. Only gold and silver shall be used in payment UF debts at all points in time. Fiat private commercial paper and all Federal Reserve debt notes are outlawed and abolished into perpetuity. The Moorish American gold standard has been activated. The gold-backed Moorish sovereigne dollarium is the world's reserve currency and petrodollar. 59 check only if APP applicable and check only one box. Collateral is XX held and the Universal Trust UF the people who are the Moorish National Republic federal government and BYRON CALVIN RODGERS and propria persona sui juris. 60 being administered by a decedent's personal representative. 68 check only if APP applicable and check only one box. Public finance transaction manufactured home transaction XX a debtor is a transmitting utility check only if applicable and check only one box. O agricultural lien non-us filling 61. Alternative designation, if applicable lessee/lessor consignee/consignor seller/buyer bailor/bailor licensee/licensor 62. Optional filer reference data, maximum principal indebtedness, the governing principle does extend to the Amendment 13, 20 sections, UV the Constitution for the United States UV America. Ratified, November 18, 1865 by 4 UV the several states. We, the Moors at North America, are the executors, ministers, creditors, claimants, trustees and beneficiaries uv all land, all natural resources, and all commerce as mandate by our ancient ancestors. En honor, I the divine sovereignty being, BYRON CALVIN RODGERS in capitis diminutio nolo in red ink in propria persona sui juris in proprio solo and in proprio heredis. Affirms that I am the sovereignty natural and divine being here and proclaimed, and capitis diminutio nolo and propria persona sui juris and proprio solo and en proprio heredis. Affirmed by lawful birthright, being lawfully universally qualified and competent to affirm this document. I therefore place my hand and seal hereto and en favor uv all Moorish American nationals. All sovereignty original indigenous ancient dipni Moorish American autographs affirming this and all sovereignty original indigenous ancient empire state ob Morocco and the de jure. Moorish National Republic federal government documents are on the public record at America, ancient Morocco, Northwest Amaxim, Northwest Africa, the North Gate, Turtle Island, Gaia, Midgardi, Earth. Chronos time immemorial into perpetuity ego sumberan Calvin Rodgers justice /visire /many star and propria persona sui juris and proprio solo and en proprio heredis. All sovereignty rights exercised at all times. No ties to agent is no ties to principal. No ties to principal is notice to agent. Empire State of Morocco Moorish National Republic Federal Government Moorish America Consulate X/0613 East Chaussee Street Private Mail Box 120 Baltimore, Maryland Reservation Ancient Muuri Land Territory Universal Natural Area Code 8 LGD 4T Puc Latitude Longitude 39.30254005 76.607918 Latitude Longitude North 39 degrees 18 minutes 9.147 West 76 degrees 36 minutes 28.5 Amen. Amen Dico Vobis, Quicum Alligaverita Super Terra Mirunt Ligata et Ego in Silo et Quicum Salvrithi Super Terra Mirunt Saluta et in Siloamen, Amen Dico Vobis. Quicum Alligaverita Super Terra Mirunt Ligata et Ego in Silo et Quicum Salvrithi Super Terra Mirunt Saluta et in Siloamen, Amen Dico Vobis. Quicum Alligaverita Super Terra Mirunt Ligata et Ego in Silo et Quicum Salvrithi Super Terra Mirunt Saluta et in Siloshalawang. Islam.